Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on these hoes. Hi.
Travis Scott and Drake found out about Astroworld fatalities at after party, says source. 8 people died at Astroworld Festival on Friday night in Houston. Travis Scott and Drake attended an Astroworld after party at Dave & Buster's on Friday night, but made an abrupt exit after learning that fans had been killed during the show. According to a source close to Scott, after performing, Drake went straight to his already planned party with his crew at Dave & Buster's. Travis then went to Drake's party after his performance, the source tells People. Neither were aware of the severity of what happened. They found out at the party about the fatalities and then left right away. TMZ was the first to report news of the after party, which occurred after 8 people died and an estimated 300 more were injured following a crowd surge at an outdoor music festival at Houston's NRG Park. Though a source previously told People Scott, whom is 30, was unable to see what was happening during the show and thought a fan had passed out. The sicko mode rapper is facing harsh criticisms from festival goers who believed he was aware of the chaos unfolding before him. So I have to call BS Travis Scott and Drake. And the reason why I state that is because this was once again Travis Scott's event. So with this being his event, you think about it yourself. If you have an event, whether a concert or something that is massive, and people end up dying at the said event, who do you think is going to be one of the first people alerted? Travis, they would have definitely told you that. Somebody would have contacted your team, and your team would have contacted you to let you know what was going on. Like your team let you know what was going on while you were performing, Travis. Once again, you did not care. Now, did Travis maybe think that, some fans passed out? It's very common. It happens at concerts, especially people pass out. Sometimes there's seizures. There's all type of things that go on during concerts, but it does not mean that you ignore it just because it's not you or somebody that you care about, because it's a stranger. Oh well, type of situation. Another reason I call BS, Travis, you and Drake knew that 8 people had perished before the concert was over. There's crowd surges of, not just surges of, trampling, also crowd surges of people screaming help, screaming for bloody murder, screaming for somebody to assist them, screaming just to get out of the spot that they were in because they felt like their life was close to ending. And then, once again, all 8 people passed away at the festival, not when they got back to the hospital. So what Travis trying to make it seem like he just didn't know, you are lying. Yes, you did. Once again, these people perished at the concert. It's not like these people made it to the hospital and then after the performance, Drake and Travis Scott go to the after party, and then they found out after the party that 8 people or a few people have already lost their lives at the hospital. That would make sense for them to leave abruptly. I felt that they left abruptly because people started to see them, TMZ and others, and they're snapping photos. And I feel that Travis didn't feel responsible. He feels like, you know what? All of that stuff happens. It has nothing to do with me. I'm about to party with my woes, type of situation. And then people started to shame them, including Drake, which is what pushed Travis the next day to come forward with this apology.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. My fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. We've been working closely with everyone to just try to get to the bottom of this. The City of Houston, HPD, Fire Department, everyone help us figure this out. So if you have any information, please just contact your local authorities. Everybody continue to just keep your prayers. I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. And I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on.
So Travis asks as if he's devastated. Drake asks as if he's devastated. The Kardashian family, including Kris Jenner, whose birthday was on the 5th, the day of the festival, they all act as if they're devastated. Kim Kardashian released a statement and others. And then it comes to the point to where, Kris Jenner, she continued to party as well. So did Kylie Jenner. So did Kim Kardashian. Everybody knew. We got to stop making it seem like they just found out. If I knew on Friday, November 5th, that 8 people perished at Travis Scott's event, how did he not know? I knew on the 5th. I knew on Friday. By Friday evening, I think I found out maybe close to midnight, I found out about it, but they didn't. Case in point, Travis and Drake, why did you guys leave so abruptly from the festival? That doesn't make sense. Why did you guys leave? Why didn't Travis, you stick around and watch the other performers? You were not the last performer. There were other people that were performing. Why not support them? This is your event. So for you to leave your own event, it just shows even more how selfish you are. These people came here to support you. Yes, they are getting paid, but at the same time, it just looks better, especially as an artist, to support everyone. They're all here backstage supporting you. Why can't you support them in return? So that doesn't make sense. I feel, Travis, you left because you knew what happened. I think, Drake, you left because you knew what happened and you didn't want your names necessarily attached to it. You felt that there are other people that need to be put at blame. Because let's not forget, when the surge happened, especially, Drake was on stage. So Drake heard the cries for help, I should say, and people wanting to get out of there. He heard it as well. And then the next day, all of a sudden, you guys are just so distorted and so hurt by what happened, yet you went and partied right after that. So how much do you truly care? It doesn't sound like you did. So let's get into Kris Jenner's party the same night as this massacre.
Make your wish. Kris, how many of those have we destroyed? Let's go. Wow, what a classy way to blow it out. Go, Mom.
Up tomorrow, I can't afford to buy her pearls.
Oh.
And maybe someday when just to lay me down.
That's right.
First of all, you never go down because you say you will. But I love you still. I need you.
I need you.
Baby, try to
Find him.
a little time, and I'll make you happy. First of all, besides the fun.
Waiting for you.
Baby. Oh, I love us.
How do you feel about this? amazing.
I love you, boy. But I love you still. I need you.
I need you.
More than anyone, baby. You know that I have from the start. So build me up, buttercup. Don't break my heart. Woo! You're red 10, I told you time and again, but you're late. I wait around and then I went to the door, I can't take anymore.
So there you have it, folks. You see that the Kardashians are partying the night as all of this went down. It doesn't make sense for all of them to be partying when all of them know what happened. It just does not make any sense. So with Kris Jenner still having a party, and also pay attention, this whole, satanic thing that everybody's speaking about when it comes to, the elite and how the Kardashians are definitely down with the fold. Kris Jenner only has 4 candles on her cake. She turned 66. Why not just get the numbers 6 and 6 and just put it on the cake? Why are there only 4 like pillars? And not only that, there was 4 exclamation marks next to the happy birthday, Kris. At first looking at it, I thought it was 3, but it's 4, which all signals 8 deaths. Kris, you all knew what happened. For all of them to be escorted out early, all of the Kardashians that were there in the VIP section, why do you all think you were removed? Your team told you why they got you guys out of there before that surge happened. It does not make sense for you guys to abruptly be being removed from the VIP section and they not tell you why. So did you guys get removed because it was too hot? Did you guys get removed because it was too loud? No, you guys got removed because of what was going on. There were people dead. What more reason would your security guard or bouncer or whoever, your security especially, that is looking out for you, it's time to go. People are losing their lives. We got to get you guys out of here before this thing gets chaotic. So they were definitely alerted, just like no different than when the Kardashians were leaving. I do believe that people also came onto the stage, Travis's team, to let him know that they were leaving. Even more reason for me to know that they knew. You knew what was going on. And then you see Kim Kardashian jumping and dancing and kicking around at, Kris Jenner's little party that she's having, although all of this stuff has happened and her party was pre-planned as well. Kim comes the next day to say how devastated she is. Kim, how are you devastated when you're lollocking and frolicking and kicking and dancing around while these people have just lost their lives? It seems as if you guys are more so celebrating. And it doesn't seem as if you're just celebrating Kris Jenner's 66th birthday. You're celebrating what happened that night. Moving on. He couldn't breathe. 9-year-old crushed by crowd at Astroworld concert, now clinging to life. Quote, I remember me being on the ground and the music stopping and I could hear him say, y'all know what y'all came here for. And you can hear everybody screaming out for help. David McGliver, 20, told People, and then the music just plays back again. I just don't understand how you can hear everyone screaming for help and not stop the show at all. In one video shared to Twitter, Scott stops performing and points to an ambulance in the crowd asking, what the F is that? Before continuing with the music. In another clip, he continues to sing and appears to watch an unconscious fan being helped by others in the crowd. Let's move on to the 9-year-old that is clinging on to life. At least 36 lawsuits have been filed against Scott over the incident. The Houston Chronicle reported among those was the family of Ezra Blount, a 9-year-old boy who was nearly crushed to death while attending the show with his father, according to the suit. Ezra is currently in a medically induced coma as doctors attempt to alleviate trauma to his brain, liver, and kidney. Let's get into what Ezra's family has to say about what happened to their 9-year-old boy.
They went to the Travis Scott concert. My son had Ezra on his shoulders at the concert, and my son couldn't breathe because of all the pressure that was being applied to him, and he passed out. And when he passed out, Ezra fell into the crowd, and he was trampled really bad, And when my son came to, they had already taken Ezra to the hospital. And he was listed as a John Doe because nobody knew his name, and the father was still at the venue in the medical facilities. So I guess my biggest thing is, how could this happen in the city of Houston? You know, when we go to concerts and different events, we expect safety and security. And all the videos I've seen, I didn't see any security. I saw very little security. If the concert was going to be allowed to continue, the police should have stepped in and stopped.
Part of this group of the elite, or Illuminati, if you will, there's all type of different ranks, allegedly, that they have. Starting with, there's warlocks, there's witches, high witches, there's all type of things, succubuses, and, you know, and on and so forth. So if you're not familiar with it, if you don't believe in it, that's just fine. I don't believe in it either, but I do believe that people do believe in it. So just because it's not my belief doesn't mean that it's not others. So it's always been rumored since, you know, the earlier days of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, especially when it got super successful, that Kris Jenner was, you know, pretty much promoted to a high witch, you know, if you will, in the illuminated, you know, type of field, allegedly. So it's been plenty of rumors going around for years that Kris Jenner is a high witch and that her daughters are witches as well. So let's get into, you know, some of these theories that are out there. In the 8 years since Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered, people have been asking, why is this family famous? Some have argued that it is because Kim's sex tape. Some dramatically blamed the degradation of Western culture. But a video recently rediscovered by the Daily Mail has finally revealed the true source of the Kardashians' fame: witchcraft. A 28-minute infomercial for Wicks of Wisdom filmed in what appears to be the early 2000s. But truly, the remarkable product Kris Jenner was mentioning wasn't Kris Jenner. It was a set of magic candles called Wicks of Wisdom. The candles, created by a spiritual psychic, very reliable source named Linda Salvin, are built as spiritual solutions that create the positive energy that's needed to go out in the universe to solve these issues. Testimonials are featured in the infomercial. But I really don't want to talk about these people and their struggles with opening doors. Grab and turn, ladies, grab and turn. I want to talk about how bizarre it is to see Kris Jenner sitting in front of a camera telling people they can improve their lives by purchasing magic candles from a woman whose attempt at provoking her legitimacy looked like this.
Once in a very long while, a truly remarkable product comes our way that challenges what we think and can dramatically improve our lives. Hello, I'm Kris Jenner. In the next few moments, you're going to discover a product that is so powerful, it can enhance your life forever. And I have it right here. These are Wicks of Wisdom, and it's the special formulas added to these unique candles that make them so amazing.
Initially, the whole premise is laughable. Here's the momager we all know and have mixed feelings about. Pre-fame and post-OJ attempting to become a television personality in one of the least respected segments of the medium. Who in their right mind would buy these things, let alone sell them, we think? There's no energy in anything she says. This could in no way lead her to becoming more famous. Wait a minute. It did. Kris Jenner, a woman whom no one on the outside of Calabasas cared about just a decade ago, made an infomercial for magic candles and then became a major celebrity. Could the dark arts be the reason for her fame? For her family's fame? Is Kris Jenner a practicing witch? People have been calling her one for years now, but until seeing this video, I wasn't ready to agree.
Radio psychic whose program has been heard all over the world. So now, let's meet Linda Salvin.
Hi, Kris. So good to see you. Thank you. It's so good to see you too.
So Linda, the testimonials are completely amazing.
They are, Kris, and they amaze me every time I receive them. I'm so grateful.
paying attention to that, video of the infomercial, not playing the whole thing, just a couple parts, you see a lot of butterflies and, and things like that with these candles that are supposedly supposed to be magic without them stating that they're magic. What's so special about a candle that I just couldn't go into a store and put the same energy inside or beliefs inside of that set candle myself and just good things come my way? But why do I have to buy it from you and, this so-called energy that you're putting into it? Is it because it's demonic? Most of the time it is, especially anything that is letting you know you're going to receive fame, fortune, any of those things. Look up Wicca. Not all Wicca is evil, but the majority of it is. And all of them classify as fortune, wanting the love of your life or just sex in abundance, all type of things, that this Wicca that is also connected to the elite are supposed to bring you. But it's usually a bunch of darkness. It's always darkness for darkness. So you have to do something dark in order to get a dark gift. Dark gifts can include money, once again, couples, being a couple with someone you've always wanted to be with, or even pulling people out of marriages, hexing the wives if somebody's married to somebody you want. There's all type of things that these people allegedly do. So with that being said, it definitely seems as if this psychic or medium, which she has her own broadcasting show that she's done, and it's been really successful in the past, but it kind of started to, Linda's podcast, it started to dwindle after a while. But the same thing with Linda, I also felt dark energy from her as well. I'm not going to say that Linda is satanic necessarily. I'm not going to say that she's a Christian, because she definitely isn't. And it doesn't make her a bad person because she's not, necessarily religious. But what I don't like is people that aren't religious that will bring up God as if he doesn't exist, to remove this imagery, that the elite has always wanted. The elite has always wanted one nation, one currency, and one religion. So they've been trying to rid us of religions, the same religions that they allegedly gave us. They've been trying to rid us of those for a very long time. So watch this short clip of Linda and how she is speaking of God and how she's trying to trick children basically into thinking that God isn't real. The universe is. If it's not tangible, it doesn't exist. And it's definitely what she's giving. So it's a little dark. So I'm just giving you a little backstory on Linda before we get more into the alleged high witch, Kris Jenner.
There's a wonderful poem that I use to teach people that there is a higher power all around us and that there's more to the universe than what meets the eye. The poem is called God, Are You Real? The child whispered,
God, speak to me.
And a meadowlark sang. The child did not hear. So the child yelled,
God, speak to me.
And the thunder rolled across the sky, but the child did not listen. The child looked around and said,
God, let me see you.
And the stars shone brightly, but the child did not notice. And the child shouted,
God, show me your miracle.
And a life was born, and the child did not know. So the child cried out and said,
touch me, God, let me know you're here.
Whereupon God reached down and touched the child, but the child brushed the butterfly away and walked away unknowingly.
Travis Scott's ex-manager claims he left him for dead. Worst person I ever worked with in my entire career. Travis Scott's ex-manager Shane Morris has come forward with his allegedly terrible experience working with the Astroworld Festival mastermind. On Monday, November 8th, just 3 days after 8 people lost their lives at the 2-day event, Morris shared a TikTok video in which he says, Scott is the worst person I ever worked with in my entire career in music. And I hate to be the one saying this, but I saw this one coming and I tried to tell everyone. Morris then pointed to several tweets from producer D. which accused Scott of leaving Morris for dead as he suffered a seizure in the studio. He shared another one that claims Scott knew the artist was abusing and harassing singer Justine Skye, but failed to intervene. The story that D. is telling is true, Morris continued. I'm Travis Scott's former manager. I'm the one who had a seizure, and I'm the one he left for dead in a basement in Los Angeles. I originally told my account in 2013, and then it recirculated on Reddit about 6 years ago. The stories coming out about Astroworld and all of the videos documenting the evidence are quite clear, and they all align in what I know about Travis Scott. He sees people in harm or danger. He tends to only continue thinking about himself. And to make it worse, he's doing this for years at other concerts. I could go on and on about the theft of sessions, assaults, and the lies he's told in his career, but the thing that I want you to understand most is that the video that just starts at the beginning, again, Travis Scott is the worst person I've ever worked with in my entire career in music.
Travis Scott is the worst person I worked with in my entire career in music. 8 people are dead and hundreds more are injured after Travis Scott's callous, reckless behavior at Astroworld. And I hate to be the one saying this, but I saw this coming and I tried to tell everyone. The story that D-Dot is telling is true. I'm Travis Scott's former manager. I'm the one who had a seizure, and I'm the one that he left for dead in a basement in Los Angeles. I originally told my account in 2013, and then it recirculated on Reddit about 6 years ago. The stories coming out of Astroworld and all the videos documenting the evidence are quite clear, and they align with what I know about Travis Scott. When he sees people in harm or danger, he tends to only continue thinking about himself. And to make it worse, he's been doing this for years at other concerts. I could go on and on about the theft of sessions, assaults, and all the lies that he's told in his career, but the thing that I want you to understand most is this. I think it's time to spill a little tea, as the kids on the internet say, and I don't mind doing this because Travis Scott is genuinely a horrible person. So in 2009, when I met Travis Scott, I was running a site called earmilk.com with my friends Trey and Blake. And I was a junior level software engineer, and I had just finished working for MySpace Music. So I worked in the technology side of music. For Travis, what we did was fake his popularity. I programmed a fleet of SoundCloud bots to artificially inflate his play counts on SoundCloud. This told record label executives that he was much more popular than he actually was. We also did the same thing early on with Twitter. You may have noticed, and somebody made a joke about it, that his early followers could make an omelet because they were all eggs. We used software to enhance his visibility via the wrong means.
This is why when Travis Scott came forward and apologized, a lot of people just didn't believe it. It seemed as if he was not being sincere. It did not seem as if a genuine, apology was being had, especially since a lot of people knew that he was partying and whatnot the night before, and he definitely knew. The thing about it is if he left abruptly from this alleged Dave & Buster's party of Drake's, why would he go on live and apologize then or state what he needed to state about the families? Why wait until the next day? Once again, to try to make it seem as if he didn't know. You did know, Travis. Cut it out. Just be honest. Another thing, with this ex-manager coming forward, it does not mean that he is literally coming out to do this to attack Travis. If so, oh well. But it doesn't mean that we, are going to fall and hang on his every word. Travis did leave this manager for dead. This manager had a seizure in front of Travis, and he and Travis were the only people in the studio at the time. Travis left. No, it was not Travis's fault that this man had a seizure, but why not call 911? Why not try to get this man some help? It's because he does not care. Travis's actions speak. Him going to this party, him coming forward with this non-authentic, non-genuine apology, him once again pushing the energy to where he only cares about himself. His actions show that. Him coming forward, I'm trying to identify the families. You don't care about any of this stuff. You're not trying to identify or call any of the families. None of the families have came forward and have stated that they have personally heard from Travis Scott. He has not reached out to them. He has not sent them anything, any condolences, besides going live thinking that he can do it basically, and once again, selfish, to where he comes live and I'm going to do this in a group stance, to where I'm going to come forward and say one thing and it's going to travel to all of the families. That is not genuine, Travis. What is genuine is getting in contact with those families one by one and letting them know how sorry you are and giving them your condolences, not doing it on a public platform to where you feel like I did it, so I don't have to say nothing else about it type of situation. It seems stubborn. It's very lazy of you, and you could have done this differently. These people's families lost their lives, Travis. This should have been a personal reach out. We don't need to see the reach out. We don't need any of that. If anybody's going to talk about it, it should be the families that you reached out to when the public contacts them and they state, yes, we've heard from Travis and his team. Nobody is saying that, Travis, because you don't care. You just want this to be over with. Speaking of the Kardashians being witches, now Marina is definitely a high witch of the elite, if you will, allegedly. Marina is a Satanist. She goes by Aleister Crowley, which if you don't know who Aleister Crowley was, he was one of the lead Satanists before he passed away. He was friends with people like Walt Disney, and I mean, the names just get bigger and bigger. Literal Walt Disney, the man who created Disney. Before he perished, he was good friends with Aleister Crowley and also followed the satanic guidebooks as well, the dark Bibles, if you will, the Baphomet, the satanic temples, the satanic churches. Aleister Crowley had multiple satanic churches. Well, Marina is right under Aleister. Aleister hated God so much that he named himself 777, which is also the signature of the lightning bolt that the elite or satanic praisers or worshipers acknowledge as part of their guide, a symbol of guidance, if you will. 666 was already taken, so that's why Aleister named himself 777. So Marina is basically like one of his proteges. She is huge into the dark Bible and whatnot, and she is an open Satanist. She's very open about it. So Kim Kardashian is a huge fan of hers. They hang out often, so often to where Kim Kardashian started to base her fashion off of Marina. I mean, look at the pictures yourself. She literally bases everything that Marina does and involves it in her day-to-day life. So with that being said, Kris Jenner is also a really good friend of Marina. It's how Kim met her. So with Kim being such a close friend of a Satanist, why would Kim not be one herself? It just doesn't make sense. Most Christians don't hang with atheists or Satanists or, anything like that. So why would you hang around a bunch of Satanists, especially ones that are high on the hierarchy, especially if you're not one yourself? So Marina has done very inappropriate things. There was this ad that she did a few years back, and with certain demons, certain demonic spirits that you are trying to conjure when certain rituals happen, such as the alleged ritual that happened at Astroworld, demons only respond to certain energy, and energy is usually meaning soul by sacrifice, something that you are offering them as a gift. So with Marina, she has done all type of rituals publicly to spirit cookings, to where people like Lady Gaga has came, to where actual human beings get into bathtubs and they add certain ingredients inside. And we'll get into some of the ingredients that Marina likes to use. But with this ad that Marina did a few years back, a lot of people really started to open their eyes to her. We're going to get into a video clip of a child being brought up in a ritual. But before we do, look at this picture of Marina. This is an ad that was on the front of a magazine. Look how inappropriate these photos are. And a lot of people were outraged by how this little boy was being portrayed. It seems as if he's scared, and I don't think he's necessarily acting. But even if he is, I think he's told to act afraid, because that is, you're going to be afraid. I mean, you being allegedly sacrificed. So with Marina, she knows with the dark Bible and, being a Satanist, that certain deities and certain spirits and certain demonic spirits only respond to certain souls. So some demons feed off of children's souls. Some feed off of just women's souls. Some feed off of just men, rather dull and, whatever. So let's get into this next clip of Marina, Kim Kardashian's really good friend, and Kris Jenner's as well, doing a ritual on a child. which makes it even creepier with her doing this type of magazine cover, especially with a child.
Sorry.
He just stand. We let him stand.
Non vogliamo trovare, ma si mette qua. Possiamo I discover you like this? Absolutely not.
Togliamo tutto fuori e alla fine io prego di ultima sangue.
Dimmi, per la mano? Togli un tasto. Questa roba per te che sta.
Ah, sì.
Se no non ci veniva, Marina, da počnem ja na ovu stranu.
Nemoj, ja volim da te vidim kako je dozira.
Dobro. Sam here?
Posso di luce? No.
So once again, with Marina doing this ritual, it is clearly a child base in the corner. She's using pig blood and pig organs and whatnot. So the blood is real. It's not human blood, but it's more so of a decoy, of showing you the splatter that she's throwing against the wall means that there's going to be blood splatter. There's going to be violence. This is going to be a violent sacrifice. Look what's in the corner. That is a representation. The doll is a representation of a child. This is a complete ritual right in front of you, right in front of your eyes. In the Satanic Bible, these rituals are labeled: the sperm with fresh breast milk, slicing your finger, sucking the blood from your finger, all of those things. That is a sacrifice. No different than blood brothers. When you cut your finger and you put your fingers together, that is a sacrifice to align, to say that we're always going to be committed to one another. It's the same thing with with these spirits that they are trying to conjure. It's more so of them finding a way to be connected to them through sacrifice. This is right in front of you. Kim Kardashian supports all of this. So does Kris Jenner. Let's move on. 9th victim dies from injuries sustained at Travis Scott's Astroworld concert. A 22-year-old senior who was critically injured at the Astroworld Festival in Houston has died, the family's lawyer said Thursday. A 22-year-old college senior who was critically injured at the Astroworld Festival in Houston has died, the family's lawyer said Thursday, making her the 9th person to die in a crowd surge after fans pushed towards the stage during a performance by headliner Travis Scott. Barty Shahani died Wednesday, authority James Lassiter said during a news conference. Barty was a shining star in the community, Lassiter said. She was a sister, a daughter, a high-achieving college student about to graduate from Texas A&M University with high grades. Hundreds of others were injured in the surge Friday night as Scott took the stage. A criminal investigation into the deaths at Astroworld is underway. Scott was only minutes into his headlining show at the Astroworld Music Festival when at least one Houston officer radioed over a police channel that the main stage has been compromised by a massive crowd surge. The police radio traffic from the Friday night concert, obtained by the Houston Chronicle, reveals how quickly law enforcement became aware of a rising danger in the throng of concertgoers shortly after the star rapper began performing at a sold-out music festival which drew about 50,000 people. Hundreds of other fans were injured as a mass of bodies pressed towards the stage, and nearly a week later, at least 2 were still in critical condition. They include a 9-year-old boy whose family says he was placed in a medically induced coma. Authorities have opened an investigation, criminal, but have not yet assigned any fault. Scott took the stage in his hometown of Houston shortly after 9 p.m. Looks like folks are coming out of the crowd complaining of difficulty breathing, crushing type injuries, one official said over the police radio around 9:21 p.m. According to the audio obtained by the newspaper, seems like the crowd is compressing on itself. Scott kept performing his set, which lasted about an hour. His attorneys have said that he did not know of the tragedy unfolding in the crowd until after the show. The newspaper reported that officers spotted people leaving the crowd, but their voices remained calm through the first half hour. I'm at a medical tent, one officer radioed in around 9:30 p.m. There's a lot of people trampled and they've passed out at the front stage. Later, another officer says we're getting multiple reports of people getting injured. We have another report of cardiac arrest situations with CPR by the stage. Houston police officer Chief Troy Finner said Wednesday that the police told organizers to shut down the performance when fans in the crowd were administered CPR. Authorities gave word around 10:03 p.m. that the concert was in the process of shutting down. By witnesses say Scott and Drake, the superstar rapper who came on toward the end of Scott's set as a special guest, kept performing. Finner repeatedly refused to provide timelines Wednesday in what was said to be just a second press briefing since the tragedy. Saying the case was under investigation, he said more than 500 officers were working at the festival, more than double the number assigned in 2019, the last time the festival was held. But Finner said festival organizers had not provided clear records of how many private security guards were working on the show, describing what they turned over as just not good. It was up to Live Nation Entertainment, the show's promoter, to secure mosh pits in front of the stage, Finner said. Scott's attorneys on Wednesday pointed to an operational plan for the event that states only the festival director and executive producers have the authority to stop the show, neither of which part is Travis's crew. Investigations should start proceeding over finger pointing so that together we can identify exactly what transpired and how we can prevent anything like this from happening again, attorney Edwin F. McPherson said in a statement. Officials have not disclosed details about the fans who have been hospitalized since Friday. But the family of the 9-year-old boy who attended the concert with his father has said the child was in a medically induced coma after sustaining injuries to his heart, lung, and brain. I will keep you all updated. Prayers for the families that are still going through this tragedy. Rest up, pray up. Prayers are definitely going straight to the...
50 last night, Barkdi Shahani lost her battle from the horrific injuries that she sustained at the Astroworld Festival. I mean, they ran so many stop signs on the way to finally the fatality wreck. I mean, from the very beginning, they ignored safety. They put profits over safety. And as a result, we have this tragedy. No parent should ever go through what the Shahanis are going through right now, ever. This was a senseless, grossly disregard for human life in these young folks that were out there.